Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into why making decisions, from what to watch on TV to which career to pursue, feels so incredibly difficult these days. Let's get into why our brains are having such a hard time.
You know that feeling, right? You've spent half an hour scrolling through a restaurant menu, and then you just end up ordering the same thing you always get. If you've ever felt totally frozen by endless options, you are definitely not alone. It's a real and frankly exhausting modern problem.
So let's actually put a name to this feeling, because it's not just you being indecisive. Nope, it's a very specific and predictable response your brain has when it gets completely overwhelmed.
It's called analysis paralysis. We've all heard of the fight or flight response to stress, right? Well, there's a third one, freeze. And when the stress isn't a predator, but a mountain of information, our brain often just slams on the brakes. It freezes, and we get stuck, unable to think or move forward.
But why does our brain do that? Well, the answer isn't in our smartphones or the giant supermarkets. To find it, we've got to go way, way back, deep into our evolutionary past.
The whole issue really comes down to something scientists call an evolutionary mismatch. It's a simple idea. Our brains are running on software that was perfected over millions of years to survive in a world that, well, doesn't exist anymore. We have an ancient operating system trying to run in a high-tech digital world.
Just think about it. Our ancestors lived in a world of scarcity. Choices were immediate and life or death. Find food, don't get eaten. Their social circle was a tight-knit group of maybe 150 people. Our world, it couldn't be more different. We're defined by infinite choice, we have to plan for retirement decades away, and we're flooded with information from thousands of virtual connections.
And this quote from a few evolutionary psychologists really nails it. Our old-school brains just weren't built to handle the constant, brand-new things the modern world throws at us. This mismatch is at the very root of so many modern problems, from what we eat, to how we date, to how we make even the simplest decisions.
So, what exactly happens when our mismatched brain comes face-to-face with the ridiculous number of choices we see every day? Well, it gets caught in a really fascinating and incredibly frustrating psychological trap.
A psychologist named Barry Schwartz called it the paradox of choice. And the paradox is this: we think we want more choices, but what he found is that more choice often just leads to more anxiety, less satisfaction, and sometimes no choice being made at all. And what's really fascinating is that researchers have found a sweet spot for our brains. A neuroscientist named Colin Kammerer figured out that the ideal number of options is somewhere between 8 and 15. Anything more than that, and we just start to get overwhelmed.
And you can literally see this in brain scans. When they showed people different numbers of options, the reward centers of the brain lit up, peaking at around 12 choices. But when they showed them 24 choices, the activity actually went down. The brain basically just throws its hands up and says, you know what, this isn't worth the mental energy.
The classic jam study proves this perfectly. They set up a table with 24 types of jam. Lots of people stopped to look. But when they switched to a table with only 6 types of jam, shoppers were 10 times more likely to actually buy one. More options got people's attention, but fewer options actually led to a decision.
Now, it's not just about getting paralyzed by one big choice. There's another, sneakier problem at play, and it has to do with the sheer quantity of decisions we make all day, every day.
This is called decision fatigue. The easiest way to think about it is that your willpower is like a muscle. Every decision you make, what to wear, what to eat for lunch, which email to answer first, is like one rep at the gym. By the end of the day, that muscle is totally exhausted, and that's when you're way more likely to make a bad, impulsive choice or just give up entirely. This is why you see people like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg famously wearing the same thing every day. It wasn't a fashion choice, it was a strategy. They were deliberately removing one small decision from their morning to save that precious mental energy for the choices that actually mattered.
And the consequences of all this overload are serious. We're not just talking about feeling a little stuck. This constant overthinking and decision fatigue can actually harm our working memory. It crushes our creativity, it drains our willpower, and yeah, it leaves us feeling more stressed out and a lot less happy. Okay, so this might sound a bit hopeless. Are we just hardwired to fail in this world of endless choice? Well, the good news is no. There are actually a few science-backed strategies you can use to take back control.
The trick is to work with your Stone Age brain, not against it. So first, give yourself a deadline. That bit of urgency forces you to make a call. Second, apply a filter. Turn off notifications, close all those extra browser tabs, be ruthless about cutting out noise. And third, and this is a big one, just start before you feel totally ready. Taking action, any action, is the best cure for overanalysis.
But maybe the most important shift is in your mindset. Barry Schwartz, the paradox of choice guy, says, the secret to happiness is low expectations. Now, he doesn't mean being a pessimist. What he means is, stop searching for the perfect choice. The fear that we might miss out on the absolute best option is what paralyzes us. If you can just accept that good enough is often the best you can do, it's incredibly freeing.
And that's really what it all comes down to. Once you understand why your brain is struggling, you can start to work around it. You can build little systems to limit your choices, cut down on that fatigue, and just focus on making the good enough decision that lets you move forward. So I'll leave you with this. What good enough decision can you make right now?